today, the most actively traded stock in the country. This looks like just a consolidation pattern. It looks like there's a pretty good chance we're going to set new highs. We get objectives out of this particular pattern to about the 150 level. So Intel, and of course that led the NASDAQ higher today. And in fact, the semiconductor stocks also led on the upside. The chart to the right on the big board, IBM sharply higher, also leading the market higher today. So in summary, the tech's surging today, led by IBM and Intel. That's the good news. Good news in the dollar hurt the gold market and gold stocks today. Back to you, Sue.
Okay, John, thanks. CNBC's technical analyst, John Murphy.
Well, it's the lifeblood of the consulting industry, and everyone's buzzing about it. We'll tell you what it is when we continue. Market Wrap continues now at 1:30. Welcome back. I'm Brenda Butner.
And I'm Sue Herrera. The NASDAQ and the blue chips put in a stellar performance, erasing the more than 100-point loss posted New Year's Eve. Tech sector showing exceptional strength, led by Intel up 8 and IBM up better than 5. IBM shared its leadership in the blue chips with Alcoa, Boeing, DuPont, Merck, and JP Morgan, all up more than 2 points. Here's a look at the rest of the final numbers for you from Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 101.60, 6544.09. New York Stock Exchange Composite Index, 394.06 on the close, up 453. Heavy volume there. In terms of the breadth of the market, it was positive, 715 stocks unchanged. The transports up almost 27. The utilities up about half a point on the day. The NASDAQ up almost 30 at 1310.68. And as for the broader markets, the S&P up 1103, the Russell 2000 up 289, and the Amex up 329. For the week, not bad given the volatility, down only 1682 on the Dow. The NASDAQ up almost 20, and the transports down almost 39.
Taking a look at some other stocks making news today, shares of State Street Bank up 8 points to 71. As we told you on After the Bell yesterday, the Bank of New York says it is seeking approval from the Federal Reserve Board and the Massachusetts Board of Bank and Corporation to double its stake in State Street to 9.9%. Traders interpreting that to mean that Bank of New York might be wanting to take over State Street. Late this afternoon, Bank of New York said it had a 5.04% stake in State Street. Shares of Bank of New York were up 3/4 at 34. And FileNet was down 8 3/4 to 23. Late yesterday, the software vendor warning that its fourth quarter earnings will come in around 20 cents a share, substantially below the 50 cents the street was expecting. FileNet shares have fallen from a 52-week high of 67. And Cybercash was down 4.5 to 18 3/4. Hambrecht and Quist downgrading the stock to hold from buy. The company markets electronic money that can be used on the internet. Finally, Stanley Works was up 3 at 32 3/8. The stock continuing its rise after it named former General Electric executive John Tranny as its new chairman and CEO.
The consulting industry thrives on buzzwords. It's one of the ways that they sell their services to their clients. Here to talk about what's hot and what's not in the consulting business for 1997, our own Bob Pisani joins us live from our New York City bureau. Hi, Bob.
Hi. So, everyone wants to come up with the next buzzword, the next re-engineering phrase, and there's no shortage of candidates.
What we really then sell is intellectual knowledge, intellectual solutions, and therefore keeping that fresh is very vital to our industry.
Hot terms this year include intellectual outsourcing. It's a fancy term for having consultants do the thinking for you about where your company should be going.
It's a good way for consultants to offer potential clients or clients easy to understand terms that they can really wrap their arms around and able to understand what the consultant's role in their business is.
Also hot, the millennium issue. Computers have been programmed to read only the last 2 digits of the year and can't distinguish between the year 2000 and 1900. It's a multi-billion-dollar problem that consultants are swarming around.
Probably 80% of the consultants, professional consultants, are involved in either operations or technology integration. So it is a very big opportunity for those firms with their current set of clients.
But some terms are not as hot as they used to be in the halls of consulting. One example is total quality management. This is where all the employees of the company got together to figure out how to improve the product and the company. Turned out to be extraordinarily difficult to implement this idea. Another hot term, growth. Teaching companies how to grow after downsizing. But 1996 was a terrific year for many companies, and they did grow. So promoting growth in 1997 is going to be a lot tougher. But some buzzwords have remained hot throughout the 90s and have entered the common vocabulary. Terms like customer satisfaction, benchmarking, that's measuring the productivity of one department or activity against another, and pay for performance, paying people in part on how well they produce. Finally, here's a trend for the times. How about consulting on the internet? Ernst & Young says it has billed more than $1 million through its Ernie online consulting system. For $6,000 a year, small companies can query Ernst & Young experts via their computer on how to better run their companies. $1 million in billings is small potatoes in the consulting biz, but Ernst & Young says that as the online community grows, so will revenues.
Now, those buzzwords you just saw was a few of the official words floating around, but now here's the unofficial list, my list of what's hot and what's not for 1997. First, what's not hot? Agility. That means helping companies change. Forget it. That's old. That's become mobility, meaning hit the road, Jack, because we have changed at our company. We've only got one job left at this company now, and I've got it. So hit the road. BPR, business process re-engineering. Now, you know re-engineering. That means your company's going to eliminate your department and focus on the process of making a better product without you. Forget BPR. This year, it's CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Those of us who still have a job are so exhausted by the time we get home every night, we need it just to get through dinner. Another former trend, boundarylessness. Oh, this was a great idea. It meant that anyone in the company could discuss anything with anybody. You could walk into your boss's office and tell him exactly what you think is wrong with your company. This bright idea lasted for, about an afternoon. What's hot now? Cluelessness, where you don't know what's happening, you don't care what's happening, you're just trying to get through the day. And that, as they say, Sue, is really what's happening in 1997. Have a good weekend.
You too, Bob. Thanks. Bob Pisani, live from our New York Midtown Bureau.
Well, up next, Jimmy Rodgers will be here to impart all of his investing knowledge. No, it will not be a short segment. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
It's also pitting the big guys against the low-cost airlines. The big debate over that airline ticket tax. It still continues, and we will too in just a second. Well, it's the end of another week and a volatile one at that. Added to it, of course, the end of one year and the beginning of another. And who better to handicap things for us this week and on into the future than Jimmy Rodgers? And he joins us now with your crystal ball. Tell me what you see ahead in 97.
Well, you made a very good point, because it's not just the end of the week, it's the end of the year.
Yep.
We've got a whole year behind us now. This is the first Friday of 1997. And if you look back on 1995 and 1996, you see two back-to-back years. The market was up well over 20% twice in a row. Now, that's happened very, very rarely in American financial history.
Can we continue at this pace, do you think?
I will just say to you, and this is not a prediction, but every time it's happened in the past, the following year has had problems. Every time it's ever happened.
Big problems?
Yeah, anything from the collapse in '87, which hurt a lot of people, and then if you look back at previous bear markets, a lot of big bear markets have started the year after two big back-to-back bull markets.
Are you,
not a prediction.
Are you anticipating that? It sounds like a prediction.
Well, I'm just saying what's always happened in the past. I will also point out it's been 6¼ years since we've had even a 10% correction in the stock market. So with all historical precedent, the stock market should have some problems in 1997, even if they're just a correction. Sue, these days, if you say to somebody there's going to be a correction someday, they say, what are you talking about? We don't even have corrections anymore. For gold, you've got the central bank selling, you've got the IMF selling. There are a lot better ways to make money than going long gold.
Is it still going to be a natural resource play in 1997 as it was for many markets in 1996, such as Canada, such as Australia?
Absolutely. The best performing mutual fund in America last year was a global natural resources fund, So, yes, it's already happening, but it's not over yet, Sue. It's going to go a lot higher before it's finished. There'll be zigs and zags. It's going to go a lot higher. But now, I didn't say that about gold. I said natural resources.
I know, natural resources. Foreign markets. A number of analysts are saying that the foreign markets are going to take the lead in 1997.
Well, my goodness, a lot of them did last year. There were 4 or 5 markets which up over 100% last year.
Some of the key markets that everybody thought would outperform the U.S. equities markets did not. You think that's going to
Japan
change?
certainly didn't. Japan was down, but most of the markets in Europe had sterling years last year, great years.
Going to continue?
Yeah, but, you know, when we have
That was an unenthusiastic.
6 anyway. If and when something happens here and interest rates start going up, that's not going to be the way to make
if
money.
there are plenty of places to make your number one pick for 1997.
Number one country?
Pick country.
Sri Lanka.
In the stock market, or
Sri Lanka stock market.
Okay.
Yeah, the Sri Lanka stock market. That would be probably the best stock market for night. Now I have to think about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I would say. You get me with these questions I'm not ready for.
It's my job.
That's not fair.
It's my job. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Sue.
Jimmy Rodgers with his top picks. Sri Lanka, right?
Sri Lanka. Yep.
You heard it here first.
Thank you for watching, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe.